that's what we'll do. Three poems. You all know it. You're all veterans. And
Mhm.
so I'll try not to do like David Lutton. That's great weather for media. Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
So you can see David's dental work. And now I know why he does that when he zooms. Okay. I said, Dave, you're pretty, but pull back on the face, man. Jesus. All right. So whenever you're ready, Jack,
Okay.
let's introduce.
Well, as I
Uh,
said, I'd like to read uh, what I've been working on most recently in this book, which is called "The Drop of the Hat."
okay,
And
1 second. I'm going to ask Dharma if
yeah,
he can. Can you you want to try to record this session, Dharma? Okay. Okay. Welcome to Angora Poets, one and all and everybody. I'm Mo Seeger. I'm one of your poets, and tonight we're back after a lengthy hiatus due to my internet disruption problems, and very glad to come back on as Angora Poets. And so on this March, let's see, right, March 12th. Here we go. Let's get this official. We are back, and so I'd like to present our first poet tonight, Paris, American poet and co-editor of Poets Wear Prada, and that's Jack Cooper. And welcome aboard, Jack.
thanks, Mo. Thanks, everyone. So I'd like to read this excerpt from "The Drop of the Hat," which it's a what's happening is that the hero Richard. I mean, the book largely describes his search for a job. That's a job with a small g instead of the sufferings of Job. Um, and so he at this point, he is on his way to meet a contact who is liable to, he's hoping is going to give him leave to work for as a spy. Road seemed best, made by hand. Richard, few since had derived such satisfaction as Richard derived from those he fashioned himself. Sticks set in the ground, doubling ideally as trees, the curves swerving among them, and the cars underneath Richard's hand contrived a perfect world. Dirt piled and patted into hills, sometime mountains, disported grandeur granting equally an inviolable tranquility, never more than tangentially to be regained. Approaching the place, two small streets met. Richard hurried, appreciative, approving the scale, admiring the narrowness, the nearly narrative continuity along which one led agreeably to the other, likely as agreeable. They're orthogonal, soon after subtended by an avenue, cordially, quietly, comfortingly oh, hold on. Oh, shit. Comfortingly distracted, say, where the shade of a maple tree, tall, diffuse, densely green, resplendent in high summer foliage beneath cumulus clouds, rained peaceably on the sidewalk below, rendering the space thus irregularly shaped, confluent from two directions, oddly, acutely opposed, a manner of retreat with pretension to a square. discordant though it seemed, despite the apparent ordinariness affected as disguise, as if inadvertently, by whim only Richard could perceive, he spied the lone, anomalous phone booth Terry's contact had indicated out of deference for his request late in the afternoon he should wait.
Is that okay? Is that
I
your
think I'm going to
excerpt?
stop. I think I'm going to stop there. Yeah.
Okay.
I have two more sentences, but I mean, I do all this in my head until I'm certain enough that I want to write it down. So I was doing it from memory.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
this is an okay place to work it out in progress. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have two other pieces you wish to
I do.
render?
Yeah, I
All
do.
right. Please do.
So this seems appropriate given my preamble. It's called Fame, and it's about my daughter. You were born of our earliest joy. We strove to make you more than two of us. You, the exceeding part of the whole. Hearing your voice conjures the world, talking in tones reminiscent of ours. Could we listen to its sound lambent in our breast? We composed you sweetly from it. Insistent bodied forms be shown one, demonstrably entire, not for ourselves alone, but every living thing. The fame love chose to grace desire. Swing eastward, widening gates. What we leave you, youth to renew in reverse. All who follow, joined to the end, eternal whispering.
Oh, yes. Okay.
All right?
Yeah, real all right.
Okay.
Number three, please. Three's a
Well,
charm.
what's that? Oh, three's a
Three's a
charm. Yeah,
charm.
yeah. All right. So I got a short one. This is a short poem that is obscurely winter themed. It's called Mindful. I take bites of your buttered roll, the lonely half you left, storing each up inside my cheek like a squirrel.
Oh, short and sweet. Okay, applause
Thank you,
Rita.
thank you, thank you.
Good. I've been writing real short stuff too, so thanks
Mm.
for greasing the skids for me.
Mm.
All right, Jack, thank
All
you.
right,
Good to hear from you again. And now,
nice
all
to
right,
be here.
so now we're going to go to Ermira. Hello,
Ye-
Ermira.
Yes.
You are on for three, darling.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I have three poems. One of them is in both languages, the first one. I'll read it in English first and then continue with Albanian version, while the two others will be only in English. Inside silence. Morning. The wind whistles outside. Inside, the teapot boils on the stove. Between us flows a plume of cold air. We breathe within each other's silence, move quietly in the backstage of our lopsided theater, rehearsing the quintessence of an ancient somnambular. Silence thrown over our bodies as a monk's dark coat corrodes the internal walls. I light a cigarette again, shake its silent ashes right away. I talk to it just for company. It's not at all capricious like you. Doesn't ask for anything, only a reason to sparkle. Ropes of smoke encircle my vision as soul's passages unfold, sometimes choking me, other times reminding me the challenge of our instincts. On the lips, only the cigarette remains faithful. It shines my soul.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And
I'll
that
read
is
it
in
in
the, is
yeah.
that in the anthology that you're in with 9 poems?
No. In the anthology, there are some old poems that I wrote 3 years ago, maybe,
Okay.
because they were submitted earlier.
Okay, so now in Albanian, that'll be
In
great.
Albanian, yes. Brenda heshtjes. Mëngjes, jashtë ndihet fishkëllima e erës. Brenda zieni brigu I qajt mbi stof. Midis nesh ngrihet një shtëllung ajri e ftohtë. Frymojmë brenda heshtjes së njëri tjetrit, lëvizim nëpër kuinta si sonambul të hershëm. Heshtja hedhur trupit shkun murgu gryen muret e përbrendshme. Ndes cigaren sërish, hirin e heshtur e të pajet ja shkon aty për aty. Flas me të për shoqëri. Nuk është as pak kapriccioze si ty. Nuk kërkon asgjë, veç shkak për të bërë dritë. Fjollat e tymit, flegra shpirti që shpërbilen, herë më mbysin, herë më përmendin sfidën e instinktit. Mbi buzë, vetëm ajo mbetet besnike, mi bën dritë shpirtit. I can read the poem from the
wow.
anthology.
Can I ask you with with Albanian language, is your language mixed with Greek?
Oh, no.
What was I hearing then? Go ahead. It's not strictly Slavic, is it?
It's not Slavic. It's a separate branch of Indo-European languages. Like Greek, Hellenic comes from Hellenic, Albanian comes from Illyrian. That's our ancient language. So it's a separate branch like Greek, Armenian, Persian, and Albanian.
All right.
It's it comes from Illyrian and it doesn't go anywhere. And it's spoken it's spoken in Albania, in Kosovo, part of Montenegro, part of North Macedonia, and a small portion of Greece, I would say.
Okay, where Albanians have migrated, yes, okay.
No, these are Albanian lands with Albanian population.
Okay, good enough.
It's a long history.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
your next presentation, please.
So, Virtuous Lover, this was the last poem published by Moonstone Arts Press. It was about love. I didn't fall in love with your light-skinned face, neither with the rosy cheekbones, nor with your hazel eyes, but with a brilliant mind that lit up like a sun under the golden hair, floating over your slim shoulders along. I didn't fall in love with your red tulip lips, two fresh unbeaten cherries, spotted over the white sand of virgin shores, but with the precious red rubies pouring from your mind's exalted seas. I didn't fall in love with the round shape of two soft hills standing tall on the valley of your chest, but with the big pumping heart hidden gracefully under them. I fell in love with that immense pure crystal dome of the sky that framed your soul's majesty, where I plunged myself and dwelt in the bliss and felt as safe as a fetus in her mother's womb. How could you trap my infinite love in just two small cages of your sylph-like body? One built of the arched thoracic ribs, the other made up of a radiating skull. My love drew its map from your waist up. But you went away soon, far too soon, from a gunshot in the school's parking lot. Yet your memory appears unshaken, the static female half-body of a fairy, who neither dies nor revives, but just hangs in the cosmic space aura as the legacy of my virtuous lover.
Wow. Wow.
Thank you.
I beg to ask, this is biographic for you, this poem?
Oh, no. It's not
You?
bad. Just imagination.
Oh, wow. You convinced me. I was crying on your behalf.
Oh, my God.
You did a wonderful job of convincing me as one listener.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
in
you.
Albanian now, please.
Oh, this one, I don't have it in Albanian.
Oh, okay.
And I'll read one from the anthology.
Freeze a charm.
Yes. Necropolis. So my family owns part of the hillside part of the city. And in the ancient time, it was necropolis. And that's what I have dedicated this poem to my ancestors and to that part of the city. It's necropolis, it's yesterday, it's the beginning. Since then, turned into a colorful garden, a flock of birds and butterflies residing in, fluttering and sensing the vibration of courage, cutting through the air as the gust of west wind. And when we dig deeply, the earth tickles us as they are still here, for their gone forth sheer legacy feels so soothing and real when touching that piece of ground on the ancient Duracium family hills and gleams their smiling faces thrilled, bonded with ours as conjoined twins. Glorifying life as the morning sunrise in spring, Necropolis thus spoke yesterday, the afterlife ancient message tuned in. You are today the legacy of our zenith. Woven in the silk pattern of tomorrow, we lived the beginning, you live the infinite.
All right. And do we hear this in Albanian as well?
It's not translated more, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's me bugging you on. I think we like to hear the second language when we can, when we can.
Yeah. This is not in Albanian yet, but I'm trying to translate it.
What city is that, Amira?
It's Duracium is the old name of Durrës or Durazzo in Italian. Durrës in Albania is by the Adriatic shore. It's in the coast.
Okay.
It's 60 miles from Italy. So we share the Adriatic Sea with Italy. Part of Mediterranean Sea, yeah.
Yes, you do.
Amira, on the first poem you read, did you first write it in English or Albanian?
That was in Albanian first, and then I translated it.
beautiful translation into English. I was wondering because the English was beautiful. If you did it first in Albanian, it's wonderful in English too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I try to just adjust it so it makes sense in English too. So,
Apparently so, because you got it published and you have our ears. All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Armira. That's great, and
Thank you very much. Yeah.
glad to have you back.
Oh, I'm glad to be here with you all.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So now I think we're going to switch at this moment to Germany. Mervyn, you're in Germany at the moment?
Yep, that's where I
All right.
reside. In the mirror,
Okay.
that was amazing, especially when you said, "Oh, that was in my head." I was like, "No." That was so beautiful and easy to
Oh,
follow, and the details um, keep you in the pocket. So yeah, thank you.
Really, kudos. And now, Mervyn, let's
thanks a
thank
lot,
you.
Marvin.
Uh,
I was muted while I was talking.
You're welcome.
okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of your comments, Mervyn, how about your first poem?
Okay. So this was published a little bit ago in the Lumiere review under a subtitle called Justice. I don't know if it's really speaking to justice. Um, I think justice still needs to hold place with this. It's called In the News Museum, which historically that is the museum that Adolf Hitler created for the stolen artworks from Egypt. So I feel bare, a clinical space with dim lights, beige walls rivaling a hospital. Yet I am not alone. Not alluding to the faces of transients wandering mummies with headphones. I need no headphones to hear, to feel the Kemet energy here. Watching my wife's eyeliner smear, tearful, overwhelmed by the voices attached to the artifacts around us, the statues and glass cubes around us. Stolen from depths of sandy caverns, silhouettes shifting in shadows of dark nights on ships. I snatch my son, telling him not to touch the sarcophagus maze. We cannot read the hieroglyphics engraved, a skin on each surface. The desires of the dead not wishing to be dragged from the dredges of darkness, their wishes to reconnect with the land of their ancestors. They cannot speak through the sandy portals left behind while imprisoned in this hinterland of green pine tree mountains and crooked rivers, moons away. Nefertiti is lonely. She is centered in a cylinder room covered by a chaos of guards protecting clear borders from image snatchers. Her one eye is piercing, a poking sight. Her flowing energy spoke to us across Germany, a serene scream tremoring under skin hairs. We cannot hide from it. Before her, I feel my intestines pulled with friction in directions, dripping pus, a weighted gray skin cloth coat of clouded fog, enclosing water skins squeezing in, tiring my limbs, my eyes. I run in my head, their voices, hear our faces leading the winds following me until I can close the door behind.
Yes. Okay. Call it out. All right. We have in one of our very central locations, Place de la Concorde, sits in the middle of a circular cemented place, an obelisk that was stolen from Egypt that still sits on Place de la Concorde. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
The looting.
Right.
Somebody said there was a joke saying, uh, Why didn't, now here's the way I read the joke, pick your colonizer, but the way I read the joke was, why did England not steal the pyramids?
They were nailed to the floor.
Close. Yeah, right. Simply, they were they were too heavy to lift. Damn
Ah,
it all.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
There's an obelisk in Central Park as well. But,
Okay.
I'm sure it was ill-gotten.
Number two, Mervyn.
Okay, there's a series I've been writing about the coasts of Den Haag to Felixstowe, between both where I grew up, the nostalgia of it, and across from it. So this is the second of the series that was published in a journal called Seaside Gothic in England. And the name of the piece is Seasons Have Reshaped Me. So, and this is about the Den Haag coast of Scheveningen, which I always pronounce incorrectly. So, seasons have reshaped me. From a winter 15 years past to this summer, returning to this pier, a stage abreast the century-old hotel, this setting of sanctuary, gaiety, where I once drunken my mind with sips of the North Sea, mesmerizing on these beach shores of Scheveningen. My spirit has transformed as a pier's physical self. The pier and I have both discarded decaying skin, unhealthy partnerships. Our drinks are brighter, sweeter, light enough to study life's simplicity. I am a child at play in a tulip field, her spite. My young son making sand angels with legs and arms with blazing blue swimsuit, vaults up to unknown 4-year-old girl in pink swimsuit, arm floats, kicking up sand behind bold seagulls opting not to fly away. On the beach, old belly men wearing Speedos, young sculpted men in spandex, both young and old men's eyes strutting along the sand, chasing tall tanned bikini girls away. Boys kicking a football, women using sand to brush away squealing seagulls. We come here to be free of thought, constraints, of our daily revolution, roping our steps. Seek Pinocchio's dream, life without strings. We come to be vulnerable, naked. The North Sea's waves massaging my thoughts into a calm while the sun blanket embraces me. Waves tap rhythmic patterns against my legs, my eyes clicking through memories, washing melancholy history away.
Okay. Like a child playing in tulips. That was nice. All right. And is this in the upcoming book that'll be presented in London?
Neither of those.
We don't get a sneak preview. Oh, okay.
No, so once they do pre-release, then I'll probably start doing a lot more of them. And pre-release should happen probably maybe July, August timeframe.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, three's a charm, Mervyn. We're listening.
So this was published in a different journal called the Transom. It was called, the issue was called Paradox. And this kind of just, well, I'll let it be what it is. And I tried an interesting form in writing it, so which I can discuss after. Duality in mountain memory. When my grandfather passed, I found out we were mountain people in Jamaica. My mom scaled trees on dirt paths, no safe road, cliff barriers, except the flowers, colors of warning connecting to this German village I have found. When my granddad passed, I remember the dominoes clanging on tables in a village, A decade past kerosene lights in the present where chickens roam freely, unaware of hot water and their last cluck. I found out we were mountain people, as the one I live on. Both share a fusion of forest flayed between fields of tall grass, walking miles, winding trails for water, in and out the trees. My mom, scaling trees, reaping sweet starfruits, mangoes, plums, papayas as a spider, then called tomboy. She had fierce courage, hearkening the stories she told me, endeavors gapped amidst store market stalls. On the dirt paths, I wondered of my mom in fields, working before school days, dancing in puddled potholes, shifting for honking horns of cars around corners. I wander the cobblestones, considering my history in my village, far across the Atlantic Sea. The daffodils, tulips, buttercups brightly led me into a forest shaken, stirred by nature's twisting force, pulling strings of harmony, snow, wind, and thunder, lightnings, chaos in our eyes until nature's painting has dried. Connection finds me with my mom's youth, the hills I am scaling, lost in Hansel and Gretel hinterland country, syncopated scents of fruits and flowers hidden with green moss fluorescent on the rock face. A chorus of finches claim mornings, a thread stringing this homeland in me.
Bravo. All right. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. I believe that was Three is a Charm, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to give a brief concept of the form, it's one where you have the first stanza and then you take a line from each of those stanzas to create all the other stanzas below.
Okay. All right. And when it works well, like that, like it worked in that poem, it doesn't stand out as a device. It's just
Right.
fluid in the
Right.
narrative. That's what's nice, that it doesn't stand out.
When it's not forced.
Yeah, you got it.
Right.
Okay, great. Great. Congratulations on that. And welcome back, Marvin, and best of luck, best of whatever reception when your book comes out.
Well, if you're doing this monthly, then we'll I'll try to jump in a lot more often because I felt kind of pulled away.
Uh,
So
uh,
been waiting for you to start your sessions. The only thing is like when you have thirds, like on the third Sunday evening, I host an alumni event online and it kind of sinks in at the same time. So
okay.
as long as it's not on that Sunday, then I'm good.
Okay. It's good to know. And well, anyway, you'll hear from me about next month. So roughly 30 days from now, not to and I'm being sensitive not to collide with other people's uh, um, in-house and Zooms. So it's almost impossible not to collide with something, but I'm trying to be sensitive. These people meet on that date. Don't schedule on that date, kind of thing. Really? Okay. Very good. Thanks again, Marvin. All right. And, okay, so let's see. Now we will come back to Paris, and we will introduce you to Paris poet writer Bill Strangmeyer. Bill, you are on.
Okay. Okay, a little bit dark today.
I thought I was fourth.
Oh, well, yeah, you were. You didn't say
Yeah,
anything,
Laura's after
so
me.
I thought I had missed you.
We're just surveilling you, with we'll freeze your digital currency if I do that again. I'm sorry. My apologies. Now we're going to go to the UK. Is it tonight, Laura? Are you in the UK?
Yes.
Okay. So now we would like to present Laura Gravel. Gravel?
Gravel.
Gravel. Gravel.
I bet
Okay.
Mervin can say it correctly.
Okay.
Incredible.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you. Mervin's got it.
Okay.
All right. First poem is called Crossword Puzzle. I logged out, puzzled, stood up from the table and walked towards the kitchen. My daughter's house is unheated. I needed a hot tea, and riddles of oddness assailed me. 5 down, a hat for your soul. 12 across, bridge to your higher power. 8 down, name of your God. But the kitchen was gone. I faced an escalator. As I rode up the moving steps, I was met by God's altar and popcorn flying. A huge red star, high-vis green, lights, lights, lights. Tickets for collection, said the modern God. Enter your code here. As I rode up the moving steps, searching for God, I was met by a rush of souls, a dark tunnel, the rattle of an arriving train, the arrows pointing in circles, the faces intent and sore. Tickets for collection, said the modern God. Enter your code here. As I rode up the moving steps, searching for love, I was met by a mountain of time and a name that sounded familiar, though my ears burned with silence. The trees grew towards me, their tongues magnificent, their roots purple, eternal. Where are tickets collected? I cried. Where do I find my code? The name was repeated. The name was repeated. Mine. The voice of Kant came close. Have courage to understand yourself. The voice of Padre Luciano came next. Have courage to understand the other. As I stood on the mountain, I heard, be humble, be simple, be clear, be attentive, be love.
Do be. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So thank you. That was for a workshop. We were supposed to write a spiritual quest poem. The next poem is, the next two I'm going to read are really drafts from a workshop I did recently. And this is one of the short ones. It's called When I Left. I took my children's teeth and 4 dictionaries because languages are useful. I took the memory of many photos, the moody sky, the names of my kin. There was no room for disappointments, but I worked in 2 donuts. My passport was moldy. I traded it for yours. I freed my laptop at the park, sold my phone at the corner. I added a pencil, a small notebook, and the word love. All else seemed superficial.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And Three's a charm, Laura.
The last piece is a la E.E. Cummings, and his poem, which was subtitled something like "I carry your heart with me, I carry it in," or something like that. I don't have a title yet. I carry your eyebrows that are highbrows, that are love, that are looks, that are in me like the many paintings on your wall. Everywhere they follow me, giving me sighs and a rise to the birds in my chest that are your determination, that fly me to the skies. I carry your eyebrows as my armor on my back, thick and bushy, up that canyon, riding horseback, across the prairie. Mile-high blue skies and panhandle grasses brush my thighs, for grandmothers grow in strange places. Bareback whinnies are my pride. I carry you in deepest crevices. No one knows I've got these ties deep in heart and veins and ganglia. In the city of New Orleans, in the ladies' book club, in your burnt orange car. Southern belles are not all Southern. The Western Star leads me afar to your perch upon the moon jar. I carry you in my heart as you ride tides across the prairie, and I come galloping in hot pursuit.
Okay. And so, you know me, I'm going to ask, was that directed at a particular living individual in your life?
It was, and I had a grandmother named Mona Hawkins, who was a very independent woman.
Clearly. Okay. Okay, great. Keep it up, Laura. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we will get to Paris by chance, Paris par hasard. And we will again introduce our Paris American poet participant, Bill Strangmeyer. Bill.
Thank you, Mo. Yeah, as I said, a little bit dark these days. This is called Rickety. The fragility holds my witness, and I seek something else. Hold tight, and I swear there is a beauty to be found in all the puckered furrows crumpled into this, our mighty teeming desert of a world, an ocean, hiding murine lairs. But still our flowers, still blue skies. And somewhere there's a meadow with a green grass bed, some sport, a game. A child would see a brighter place, and so might I tomorrow if a vision came that showed a different meaning that I then could weave into a warmer dream than on this bed Procrustes dreamt of, made for reasons known to all us fools. I ask the key to escape the sky god's rage and the earthly mother's grim ferocity, or illusion that there is a time behind the veil. There, the dreaming where I'll nod off into those times I fear are not as real as grit.
Okay. All right.
And this is called Caveat Emptor, let the buyer beware. So thin the line on which we see the wherewithal of beauty and of love. I felt it was an ocean, felt it was the world, but no, the ocean is the world, and the luscious absolution some fight against or hide within the laws has never had the force we gave it once, the force that comes from artless youth. Oh, love so precious and beauty so dear are gifts like rings on a merry-go-round, to be caught or forgotten lest you weep and add to the valueless tears.
Woo. Ooh, that stings there. Well, okay. I like the sting you ended that on. All right. So we're ready for threes of charm.
Okay, it starts with a quote. The amount of money that is in your bank at the time of your death is the extra work you did, which wasn't necessary. That's a quote from Adolf Hitler. It's called Crypt Schrift. They've changed the rules, and why? They've changed the rules for me. I won't complain of the general rules, the ones the children have made. Why not take the luck from the lucky ones and punish all arrogance, however coherent? Never seems to touch the ones the goofballs so adore. But jealousy is not my game and never was. Always too busy fixing myself, fine tuning with a monkey wrench, and too much contempt for their stupid rewards. I've never found a one to be more leaden than the other. The spiteful and the kind, the loving and the hating, all affect the air that we all breathe the same. But passion has come and gone and missed the mark. My passion not, it seems, a magnet, not a prize. And always something like a cloud is there, a thing to rig the game of talk, a hidden player or impure kibitzer at my back. And was it this that's changed the rules of how to move, the rules of give and take, the rules of how I feel, of how I'm felt, this hobbled foot race, shackled wish, the night dreams turned to desolate old shanty towns, God-forsaken, dusty and gray as ash, has lost the bird-like and leonine dreams of before. Your is long ago, your is long gone away, stolen perhaps by the common and general hatred hating back at hate. The center will not hold and the edges more unparoled. But why should I complain? And anyway, whether good or bad, no one deserves what they get in this place, this purgatory built and run for the glory of bastards and fools. What an anomaly would I be to get more than they all deserve?
Yes. All right. Wow. That's the briefest I've heard you in a long time. That's some really poignant poetry. And I must say, I think we know that's like the briefest I've heard your new work in a long time. Yeah. That's what I want to note. Pleasant hearing the other side of you, the brief side, because that's all. That's a compliment. Okay.
You?
You're welcome. All right. So now we will now go to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
Okay, well that's where we're going. We're going with Dharma Dave, aka Rorschach, and you're on.
All right. I forgot to tell you guys, first of all, I missed Angora Poets, so it's great to be back. And after we're done here, I'm going to go down to North Beach. Somebody messaged me. It's going to be the 20th anniversary of the opening of the Beat Museum, a little party down there. So that'll be fun. I'll go straight from here to there.
Mm.
And now we'll go back to the beginning of my poems for to start out. First hours of a rainy day. Lines in Oakland, Oakland lines. Endless freeways in California. Misty forests and angel minstrels. All is all is lines. Loved the girl, he loved the girl. Orange thinness, yellow sun, springs and clocks. Human fetus, incredible photos. Beetles in yellow submarines. The circle is magic. Child's art and pumpkins grand. Such a perfect smile. No more, no more, gone. All is darkness, never ending. The sun's not seen in Oakland, but lines are in the painter's eyes. And we're having a lot of rainy days here in California, so I'm inspired.
Okay, well that poem ended. Thank you, thank you. Before you comment, thank you for number one. Continue what you were saying.
Oh, I was just saying that it's been raining a lot here. And number two is from another about another rainy land, although it's also about, of course, like much of my work, the land of dreams. Let me start with a quote here. I'm going to do the quotes first. The first quote, this is actually graffiti. It was in the Guild Theater light booth at the University of San Francisco. And it said, God made whiskey to prevent the Irish from ruling the earth. And here's other graffiti. This was on Haight Street, San Francisco, circa 1980s. God is perfect. Man is not. Man made whiskey. God made pot. And then a quote. This is attributed to James Joyce. The pun is the highest form of humor. And lastly, in the quotes from John Joyce, the father of James, his advice to his daughters: never marry a cork man. Your mother did. Here's the poem. John Jameson and Son. John Jameson and Son, Irish waters of the Liffey, as I stumbled drunk down the hill from the tower to cross the streets of Dublin, a place I have been and never pass a pub. It can't be done. There I saw my other brother, alone and with no other. I told an old joke of whiskey and mirth, and he quite nearly fell off of his bar stool. Sawdust on the floor, of course. The river and the whiskey flowed to all the town and throughout the land. Like a star dewdrop woman, shimmering with countless gems, we rolled with her in the meadow, new morning grass. My friend had a smoke, and I turned to writing books. Fathers and sons drinking together, and every single and blended grandfather, distilled in Ireland like some of my favorite ancestors. The keen things seen in the woods, stones marking the road, of course, playing checkers, happy laughter, red cheeks every evening. My friends, the old boys, keep telling each other the same story from their childhoods, and always standing by their own saintly drunken mother. I'm telling you, it was enough to drive me to solitude, exile, and cunning, even though I always turn up again at the pub.
Okay. All right. Brendan Behan applauds you from wherever Brendan Behan is applauding from. All right. Okay. So you're going to the Beat Museum?
Yeah, at 4 o'clock my time it starts. So
Okay.
it's a Sunday afternoon kind of thing.
Yeah. I was there on its opening, and Neil Cassidy's son was getting drunk, and Neil Cassidy's daughter was telling Neil Cassidy's son to stand up straight. So it was truly the Beat
Tuck your
legacy.
shirt in.
Truly I don't care. You know what my dad did. Great. I have a button from the Beat Museum. Wow, wow, wow.
I got to read there last September for the launch of the Revolutionary Poets Brigade anthology, which included a piece of mine. And that was a thrill.
Was that the group inaugurated by Jack Hirschman?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, our former poet laureate of San Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
His
And a friend of
influence.
mine, I must say. He was a dear friend of mine with his Arcana series.
He
Okay, great.
he was a great influence on me for decades.
Yeah, he certainly was. All right.
So
So, was that three's a charm from you, or did I miscount?
Three's a Charm is coming up right now.
All right, here we
I'm,
go.
I'm gonna read this one is by my friend Daniel Nettle, and it's kind of just for fun. It's called Three Nights Before Easter. 'Twas 3 nights before Easter, and all through old scripts, many creatures were stirring on their own private trips. The Greeks were dying, laid out on their beds, with knives and machetes lodged in their heads. Up in the corner, the vulture crow crowed, and trolls sat about, talking in code. Then a sound broke the silence. Just before dawn, I rushed to the window, yelled, "What the fuck's going on?" And what to my wondrous eyes did appear but 9 naked women and 3 6-packs of beer. Then the next fatal vision forced me to laugh, for there sat Bob Hanch in his hovercraft. He threw me some fungi and said with a glare, "Take this and eat it, and dare if you dare. I'm on my way to New Jersey for their Masonic parade. Just thought I'd stop by and see you got laid." I said, "That's awful nice, 'cause I firmly believe they're all my type. They all seem to breathe. The gift of his coming was written in sin." As the 9 naked women came tumbling in, we paused in our foreplay as Bob rose in the sky, shouting, "Groovy Walpurgis to all, and to all a good high."
Okay. Take the hatchets out their skulls.
That's
All
all I
right.
have for now. That's enough. That's too much.
What was that? They seemed like me. They were all breathing.
It's your type.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Well, now it's my turn, and I want to read 2 of these 3 poems from 2 poets who, well, the first poet, Nursel Erkatan, and just a reminder, a couple months ago, her house burned down. Her loving cat was killed in the blaze. The earthquake came a couple weeks ago. She's been a volunteer with relief efforts for the earthquake victims. And so she has just simply not participated in writing new pieces or, going on the Zooms. So she says to say hello to everyone, that her heart is with us, and she has great memories of being with us and will return again. So in the meantime, I will read one of her poems, and it's from her book called Yakamos. And Yakamos, it's Turkish, meaning that special moment of the sun sparkling off the water. That's what Yakamos means. And here is her poem called July Faced Man. Let me take refuge in marbled bosom of poetry. Let me hide in my heart forever. Purple butterflies are hidden in your farewell kiss. Oh, proud-faced sadness, untie your baby blonde hair. Look, cherry tree blossoms like poetry. Make a crown with those flowers for your pain. Make the July-faced man smell who has brought you the spring. Yes, Narcel. It's a great book, by the way, and it's just a great book, and it's bilingual, of course, in Turkish and in English. Okay, so now I will read you another poem from a man who has been following us, and I've been in touch with, I guess for about 15 years now. But because of censorship and monitoring in Bahrain, okay, surveillance and persecution of people who wanted democratization there and all that, he doesn't come on Zoom for fear of his arrest. But what he does do, interestingly enough, is publish his poems in Arabic and translate it into English. So let me read you one of his recent poems that came out. His name is Ahmed Alajmi from Manama, Bahrain. And it's untitled. He likes to do untitled. It goes, I just happened to see a bird building a nest or a butterfly taking care of a flower. So I think about life in its few days, cost, existence without reality. He is killing people, and it leaves them helpless about enjoying the light. Whenever you hear the words devoid of emotions, felt like lightheaded, and if not for love and beauty, they are reshaping the river when life got out from the swamp of pain. And I read that 2 or 3 times, and wow. His name is Ahmed Alejmi, and if anybody accesses him, a lot of his poems are deep. So that was him. And thank you, Ahmed Alejmi. Stay safe. Several members of his community have been imprisoned in and out, by the regime and Bahrain and all that bit. So that's why I read for him. Okay, here's a poem of mine that got published in Serbia. And it was just a draft, really, because I will be participating in Walking with Whitman poetry series out of New York, hosted by poet George Wallace. And by coincidence, I have this mention of Whitman. And yes, this came out of a collection in Belgrade, Serbia, called The Weight of the Word. I believe that's how it goes in English. And this simply goes, nothing like the sound of a wood flute to lift the weight from my burdened shoulders, to free the tension from the back of my neck all the way to the base of my crooked skull. I stand on this barren patch of sand in his island, looking for the Brooklyn eagle, reaching out in the early hours, despite all about me, about you, about us, a bittersweet love and cry for tomorrow, a Walt Whitman morning. Okay, thank you. All right. And I must say, first time I've been rendered in Serbian. So, okay. Well, that was the end of the first round. Congratulations. It feels really good to have you all back. So, this was really nice. So, why don't we take like a brief break and come back and read 2 more pieces, poems or excerpt, what you choose, 2 more pieces in the second round.